Hello everyone, today is 3rd of June, now it's 9 o'clock in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is first part of today's update in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Second part will be published on my Patreon page, which also gonna be packed with important and interesting news if you are not a member of our Patreon community, please consider to become one and to subscribe to my Patreon page. That will be great support to this small media project of mine and my work. Link is under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. That's been said, let's talk about news now. And first of all, short summary of the situation on Ukrainian battlefield. According to reports in the Russian segment of internet, there was no crucial changes on line of contact. It's still some sort of operational pause with this local scale skirmishes, artillery duels, reckoning force operations. Main attention is of course towards Kharkov region still, where Russian forces are conducting these local scale offensive operations to create a buffer zone. And we have two main directions of these local scale offensives. On the western side, main direction is Liptsi, although for quite some time now we didn't receive any reports about crucial changes on the line of contact in this area. In the eastern flank, main direction of Russian offensive is Volchansk, which is still divided between the sides, and right now main focus of both sides, Russian forces and forces of Kiev regime, are concentrated on in the northern part of Volchansk city, which is divided by Volcha river, and well, more than half of the northern part of Volchansk is controlled by Russian forces, although Kiev regime is still managing to hold on to some areas in this northern part. I guess not for a long. Today I see report, and I will share this information later on, that Akhmat special forces were deployed in this direction, and of course Akhmat special forces, they are specialized on assault operations, on storming operations. They are stormtroopers, and I guess soon Akhmat special forces will arrive in Volchansk, and we're gonna see significant progress of the Russian offensive in this direction. Also, Russian forces are active in Kupiansk direction, and further improving positions in vicinity of Kislyovka-Kotlerovka area. Also, Berestove, around Berestove settlement, but no groundbreaking changes for now, unfortunately. When it comes to Seversk direction, also no crucial changes on the line of contact. Russian forces are becoming more and more active, increasing pressure on Kiev regime forces, but line of contact still not really changing that much. It's all local scale skirmishes. When it comes to northern flank of Donetsk sector in Chisovyar area, interesting developments has happened here. Last 2 days videos are circulating, by the way, on internet, with the Russian armored group on that video, which is crossing entire this northern part of the Chisovyar, and then crossing also a channel, Seversky Donetsk Donbass channel, and establishing or reinforcing their foothold in this area on the western side of channel. And after that, after military personnel left this armored vehicle itself went further north with this road, and everyone is confused at this point. No one really understands what the hell is happening there, because there was no reports in Russian media or from defense ministry that Russian forces established control over the Kalinina settlement. So how Russian forces end up in the western part of canal, western side of canal, without being challenged on their way? And I guess with the exception of militaries that are operating in this area, and the defense ministry of Russian Federation. No one really has any good enough information at this point. Even this map, by the way, which is maybe considered pro-Russian, even this map is not coloring Kalinina settlement under Russian control, because I guess they are also confused. Although we have icon here about this offensive, local scale offensive of the Russian armored group. Maybe in upcoming days, maybe even today, we will receive some additional information from Defense Ministry, and all the mappers will change coloring of this area. All the mappers will color Kalinina and this part here as under Russian control. Who knows? Let's wait and see. But that was probably most interesting or important development. Let's see, not interesting, important development during the previous 24 to 48 hours on the line of contact, because as I said, everyone was surprised to see that video. When it comes to Avdiivka sector of the front line, no crucial changes. Russian Defense Ministry reported that Umanskaya settlement is under Russian control now, and when I see that information, I had some deja vu moment. I spoke about it yesterday during the live stream on YouTube channel. By the way, we had a very nice community chat during the live stream, and I'm grateful for all the members of our community who participate in live stream, and who did watch live stream later on in recording. And as I said, I had some sort of deja vu moment, because I clearly remember that earlier there was also reports that Umanskaya is under Russian control. But maybe there was some local scale counteroffensive of Kiev regime, and the settlement became disputed again between the sides, or something happened. But whatever the case, now it's official, and Umanskaya is under Russian control, and I'm quite sure next direction of the Russian forces will be Yasna Brodovka, and probably this week we will see advances of the Russian forces towards this settlement. What else? On the southern flank of Donetsk sector, there was no crucial changes. Also, no reports at all about Krasnogorovka, for example, which is disputed between the sides. It seems like none of the parties here are ready to continue military operation, active phase of military operation. It's an operational pause. Russian side is holding strategical ground, high ground, I should say, and the Kiev regime forces are holding to this this residential area, 1-2 floor private housing area, and well, maybe it has no strategical meaning for Russian side right now to further, to impose, to establish control over the entire Krasnogorovka. There is no hurry really, and therefore, who knows, maybe this standoff in Krasnogorovka will continue for who knows, maybe weeks or maybe even months. When it comes to South Donetsk sector of the front line, Russian forces are also conducting local scale offensive operations from Novomikhailovka, Paraskovievka areas, also from Slatka area towards western direction. And also Russian forces are active in Vremyovsky salient area. Unfortunately, Staromayorskaya and Urozhaina are still disputed between their sides. I was expecting these two settlements to become under full Russian control last 2 weeks at least, but it did not happen. Okay, it will happen at some time in the future. And well, if you take a look on the map, it will become clear that Russian activity on the Vremyovsky salient area, also in between Vremyovsky salient and Uglidar, and on the eastern side of Uglidar, Paraskovievka, Novomikhailovka areas, it is becoming clear that most likely Russian forces are planning to conduct sometime in the future some offensive operations to not just get closer to Uglidar, but to encircle this small city in this area. It's, as you can see on this map, by the way, it's just a few high-rise blocks. It's not significantly bigger than Canal district in Chisovyar, although heavily fortified. But in any case, I guess before end of this summer, Uglidar, Chisovyar, and a number of other relatively large settlements will become under full Russian control. Or maybe we will see even decisive operations from Russian side, and huge areas will become under Russian control. That depends on state of the affairs in Ukrainian armed forces or armed forces of the Kiev regime. If we will see collapse of Kiev regime forces anytime soon, then one should expect decisive Russian offensive operations for that moment. And well, this is it when it comes to short summary. There was no crucial changes also on Zaporozhye sector of the front line after Russian forces established control over the Rabotino. This area became quite relatively calm. Just local scale skirmishes are taking place, and after recent Russian activity in Kamenskaya, in between Pitikhatki Kamenskaya areas, the situation is calm again in this area. Some local scale skirmishes are taking place. So overall, as I said, by the way, in the beginning, some sort of operational pause has established, and seems like it will stay this way for some time, and maybe before Russian forces will start another local scale offensive operations to create a buffer zone in Sumy or Chernigov region. Let's see. And of course, if you are interested in more detailed analysis of the situation, military channels are providing great volume of information, and I recommend those channels. And if by chance you are not familiar with the independent alternative media, including military channels, under this video in description box you can see list of channels that I follow, my recommendation list, and there you can see links to at least several military channels. Okay, that's been said, let's talk about some other news, and let me check how long is this video. It's 12 minutes, so okay. And first of all, this information from RBK news agency that Belarusian Air Force finished its in full cycle of the training to use non-strategical nuclear weapons. This was stated by head of Ukraine's Air Force and Air Defense, Leonid Davidovich. And of course, we all know that last several weeks there was military exercises in southern military district of the Russian Federation on the topic of usage of non-strategical nuclear weapons or tactical nuclear weapons, and same time military exercises were taking place in Belarus also, where Russian armed forces have deployed their tactical nukes some time ago. And well, now we have this information that exercises went entire cycle, and Belarusian Air Force is ready, and I believe ground forces also that are operating with their tactical missiles, Iskander missiles for example, are ready to deploy and use tactical nuclear weapons if order is given, which is a clearly additional warning for the Western ruling class, although I'm quite skeptical that Western elites are capable of taking seriously any warnings from anybody, including from Russia. RIA Novosti's report also that Germany is acknowledging or authorizing even, one may say, use of Patriot air defense systems against aerial targets on Russian airspace. And this was stated by a German high-ranking military official during the interview with the IRD TV station in Germany. Let me give you his name, by the way, if I find it. Colonel General Christian Freuding. That's a person that said that, well, Kiev regime might use Patriot batteries to strike aerial targets, including planes, into Russian airspace. Of course, that will be next level of provocation, and Russia will retaliate. And by the way, recently there was a report that Germany will transfer to Kiev regime 4th Patriot battery. I don't know how many Patriots Germany has left, or IRIS-Ts, but one may say Germany has been quite effectively demilitarized by its own government during this special military operation. So let's see. By the way, as I said many times before, we are extremely close to next level of escalation, and once these long-range weapon systems that NATO is deploying in Ukraine and are operating, once these weapon systems will be actively used in Russian territory, deep inside Russian territory, including airspace, we have next level of escalation on our hands. And me personally would not be surprised at all if at some point Russia will retaliate with strikes on military and logistical infrastructure of countries that are involved in these operations against Russia on Russian soil, including Germany, by the way. And when it comes to Germany, some logistical hubs may be targeted by Russian forces, some portal infrastructure that is used to transfer, for example, military equipment from UK or US to Germany, then to Poland, and eventually into Ukraine. Also, by the way, United Kingdom is risking, government of United Kingdom is risking extremely by this constant escalation with Russia, because as it was stated some time ago, Russia already gave a warning to London and also leadership of France that once these British or French long-range weapon systems be used to strike deep inside Russian territory, Moscow will retaliate on assets of UK and France, not just in Ukraine but elsewhere also, which means that entire world, whenever or wherever assets of UK and France are located, may be targeted by Russian forces. Same goes for US. And Poland and Romania also should think about their actions, because if it comes to Russian retaliatory strikes, but once again, by the way, I would not be surprised at all if Russia will also strike some logistical hubs in Poland and Romania that are used to transfer weapons to Ukraine. So we are very close to retaliation, to next level of escalation. It is a high probability that Russia will retaliate at some point. And the only question is, will this will we eventually will end up in a third world war, or after Russian retaliatory strikes, sides will, Western ruling class will finally realize that they are crossing red lines and they are provoking third world war, and maybe they will start de-escalating. I don't know. Let's see. And we have RT's report here, by the way, that Biden or whoever really makes decisions on behalf of Biden, because Biden himself barely understands who he is, man, when he looks in mirror, probably. So of course he does not make any decisions, but whoever does, they don't want to be responsible for World War III, according to White House. Let's go through this news. So President Joe Biden, formerly Joe Biden, in reality decision makers in the White House, do not want the standoff with Russia over Ukraine to trigger a global war. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby has stated. He made his statement days after White House confirmed that Biden has granted Kyiv permission to use the US-supplied weapon systems to strike deep inside the Russian territory. And well, these people, brains of these people are really broken, isn't it? Brains of decision makers in the US, in the White House, because they just authorized strikes deep inside Russian territory, which is a clear path towards next level of escalation with Russia. And now they are saying that they don't want to be responsible for a global confrontation. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, just go and check and see some doctors, for God's sake, man, because you clearly are sick, mentally ill individuals. All of you who are in charge of US, all of you need some fucking medical assistance, man. You are crazy and extremely dangerous for everybody, including US citizens. Fucking morons, man, I'm telling you. On one hand, they are saying they don't want us to, to provoke Third World War, and in other hand, they are saying that formally they are authorizing Kyiv regime to strike deep inside Russian territory, but in reality, we all know that it's US military personnel that is operating with these US long-range weapon systems. As it is the case with the UK's long-range weapon systems also, Storm Shadow, for example, is operated by British military personnel. And French military personnel operates with the Scalp PG cruise missiles. So what the hell, man? What is wrong with these people? Are they really suicidal, all of them? I don't know. Morons, man, morons. Intellectually bankrupt, morally bankrupt individuals that somehow end up in position of power, man. This is crazy. RBK news agency is reporting that Zelensky, as we all know, Zelensky was in Singapore participating in the Shangri-La Security Conference. And first of all, I don't know why he was invited or allowed to go to this conference, because after all, who the hell is Zelensky? I mean, really, after 20th of May, he is nobody. He is nobody. He is not a legit representative of the Kyiv regime. And by the way, author of the Ukraine's constitution says that Zelensky no longer has legitimacy. But anyways, for some time, I guess world will continue to ignore this objective reality that Zelensky is illegit individual, illegit representative of the Kyiv regime, and whatever he will sign will have no legitimacy. But anyways, he was invited in Singapore, and he went full crazy mode, criticizing just about everybody who's disagree with him, and he went as far as to call China tool of Russia, tool in Russian hands, and criticized China for not participating in this so-called peace summit in Switzerland. And well, I guess you know what, if Zelensky was had any respect, maybe Chinese leadership will respond. But who the hell is Zelensky, man? He's just some sick, mentally sick individual, clown that plays role of president, or used to play a role of Ukraine's president. Now he's playing role of Ukraine's illegitimate leader. And well, Chinese diplomats are busy, Chinese leadership are busy, and I don't think they will comment even on this beach, Zelensky. But I mean, he started criticizing China quite heavily, insulting China basically, and that's definitely end of any relationships that China had with Ukraine, that's for sure. TASS news agencies report that it's not just China that will not participate in this so-called peace conference in Switzerland, but also Saudi Arabia has no plans to participate in that circus and will not send a high-ranking delegation. And by the way, I guess BRICS in general, BRICS member states will ignore this so-called peace conference, and that's a majority of this world. That's majority of this world. I don't know why would anybody send any delegation in Switzerland, because it does not make any sense really, because Russia is not participating, and then what they gonna discuss? The so-called peace formula from Zelensky. Who cares about Zelensky and his formulas, man? So it's a clown show, by the way. I mean, this Swiss conference is becoming more and more laughable as time goes by. And eventually, I would not be surprised at all if we will see in that conference just collective West countries gather and talk some crap about Russia. That's an entire world will laugh at them, because they do that kind of stuff on a daily basis. Anyways, so why so much noise about this Swiss conference then? Anyways, RIA Novosti is reporting that NATO countries made their decision to basically give authorization to member states to revoke fifth article about collective defense if they are under cyber attack. Okay. This is additional reason, by the way, additional opportunity in hands of extremists in the leadership of NATO member states to revoke this fifth article against Russia, because they can conduct cyber attack on some state institutions inside their country, for example, and then claim that it was Russia and revoke fifth article. Okay. Okay, Russia is ready, by the way. Russia is ready to any level of escalation. And if ruling class of the West wants to find out what it is nuclear fusion, and thermonuclear weapons are clearly providing that opportunity to get close and personal with the fusion. Well, if they want it, they might have it. Who knows? All they need to continue this constant escalation with Russia, and they will find out eventually. And no bunker is gonna save them, man. That's for sure. TASS news agency is reporting that Israel once again targeted Syria. If Israel has not enough issues on its hand, or Israeli government, they are targeting Syria once again. In Aleppo area, some military facilities were targeted, and as a result, 17 military personnel of Syria's forces, governmental forces, and also Shiite militia were killed there. Of course, significantly more wounded. I don't know, man, what is wrong with Netanyahu, but he is clearly seeking some next level of escalation in the region. He's provoking everybody, all its neighbors, on daily basis, and unfortunately, there is still danger that Netanyahu and his government will provoke regional war there. There is a high risk of that. Zglyad newspaper is reporting that Hutu rebels, according to statements from Hutu rebels, they targeted U.S. aircraft Dwight Eisenhower in the Red Sea twice in the 24 hours, in the previous 24 hours, which is well, quite interesting. And dear friends, yesterday during the live stream, I showed this video that captain of the Dwight Eisenhower aircraft carrier published, old video of landing of their FA-18 on the deck. And many people noticed that video was old one, and started asking questions. Why would the captain of the aircraft carrier publish this old video to demonstrate that the aircraft carrier is operational straight after Houthi rebels made claims that they targeted this aircraft carrier. And at this point, we don't really have any additional information, but speculations are increasing on the internet that maybe Houthi rebels were successful and this aircraft carrier received some damage during these strikes. It is possibility. If you remember, I was saying that yes, U.S. military vessels they have a proper air defenses. Aircraft carriers are never moving alone. It's always a striking group, and other vessels are protecting aircraft carrier, obviously. But well, things may happen. Things may happen. Some air defense system may malfunction or something else, and one of those missiles from Houthi rebels, missiles or drones, may reach military vessel itself, aircraft, frigate or whatever, and cause some damage. And maybe that's exactly what happened with the Dwight Eisenhower. I would like to see new footage from this aircraft carrier. Is it really operational or maybe not? Because I also find it difficult to understand why would captain of the aircraft carrier published some old video to prove that carrier is operational. Strange. Anyways, let's continue. And TASS news agency is reporting that Turkish troops may be withdrawn from Syria if border security is ensured. This was stated by Defense Minister of Turkey. Interesting news. I'm a little skeptical. That Turkish forces will withdraw from Idlib, but Idlib province of the Syria. But anything is possible. Anything is possible. Leadership of Turkey needs allies. Leadership of Turkey needs good relationships with Russia, with global South. They know that Western ruling elites, they are not friends of Turkey. They know that EU is not a friend of Turkey. US is not a friend of Turkey. All they want is to use Turkey if they can. And it is just logical for Turkey to look forward for better relationships with its regional neighbors, first of all, and with the global South, with the BRICS, let's say this way. And therefore, maybe Turkey will increase cooperation with the Syrian government, and as a result of this increased cooperation, maybe Turkish troops will withdraw from Syria. Theoretically, it's possible, although I find it difficult to believe that it will happen anytime soon. It's good to see, anyways, that Ankara, that play a huge role in destabilizing Syria on initial stages of this terrorist offensive on Syria. Ankara has shifted its policies now and re-establishing relationships with Damascus. Vzglyad newspaper is reporting that Chinese ambassador in Iran, by the way, was summoned by Iranian foreign ministry, and reasoning is that earlier there was a combined statement from United Arab Emirates and China about few islands in Persian Gulf that are disputed between United Arab Emirates and Iran. And in this combined statement of UAE and China, it was noticed that these islands are under sovereignty of United Arab Emirates, and Iran did not like it at all. And well, they summoned Chinese ambassador to issue protest about it. This was reported by Tasnim news agency, and well, interesting. I don't think this situation will derail partnership between China and Iran, but it does highlights that even among strategical partners there are some issues that need to be addressed time to time. And by the way, both countries, UAE and Iran, are members of the BRICS. Of course, now, although UAE, I'm not quite sure, UAE finally finalized its entrance to the BRICS on legislative level, but in any ways, it's a close partner to the BRICS. TASS News Agency's report that according to exit polls, by the way, Mexico is about to have first female president. According to latest information, Claudia Sheinbaum, candidate from ruling coalition, is receiving majority of the votes, and yes, most likely she will become next president of Mexico. Interesting. Also, by the way, Central African Republic president thanks Russian president for deliveries of the grain to the republic for humanitarian aid. Interesting. Of course, Russia's presence in African nations increasing, because more and more nations in Africa see Russia as a strategic partner and a country that can help African nations with the security and economical developments, which is great, by the way. I love this process to continue, because historically Moscow has had great relationships with African nations, and it should be this way always. And Russia was never seen, by the way, in Africa as some sort of colonizer state. Russia is always seen as a partner, and Russia acts as a partner, not as a colonizer. And that's why more and more countries in Africa are shifting towards building up strategical ties with Russia. Great. RT is reporting that, Defense Minister of the China, by the way, made quite strong statements in regards to Taiwan in Shangri-La conference in Singapore. So China's efforts towards peaceful reunification with Taiwan have been consistently undermined by separatists and their external forces. Defense Minister of China Dong Yung has claimed. He also warned that anyone attempting to separate Taiwan from China would end up facing self-destruction. Speaking at the Shangri-La Dialogue Conference in Singapore on Sunday, Chinese Defense Minister Dong Yung stressed that the Taiwan question is the core of China's core interests, aligned with the One China principle and safeguarded by the Chinese military. He blasted the Democratic Progressive Party of Taiwan, DPP, for pursuing separation in an international way, raising the Chinese identity of Taiwan and severing social, historical, and cultural links across the Taiwan Strait. He went on to accuse the separatists of betraying the Chinese nation and their ancestors. They will be nailed to their pillar of shame in history, the defense chief stressed before condemning external interfering forces without naming them directly, for hollowing out their One China principle by selling weapons to Taipei, and they're attempting to use Taiwan to contain China. Well, we all know that it's collective West in general and US in particular that China's defense minister was addressing. Well, unfortunately, as I said many times before, by the way, it is highly likely that sometime in the future, US or Western ruling class will provoke military confrontation between China and between Chinese Taiwan and mainland China. It is unfortunate, but it seems inevitable. And I guess Chinese militaries are getting ready for action because they know what is to come. Just give it a couple of years, by the way, maximum, and unfortunately, most likely, Western ruling class will provoke this conflict in that region, and then they will, by Ukrainization of the Taiwan, they will try to impose on China same level of sanctions as on Russia. They will try to create divide between China and the rest of the world. I don't think Western ruling class will succeed in it. But it don't mean that they will stop of trying, because Western ruling class, as we all know, have no reverse gear, unable to learn, and therefore, unfortunately, escalation in between Taiwan and China most likely are inevitable. That's news agency is reporting. And when it comes to identity of Taiwanese, by the way, they are Chinese people. Vast majority are ethnic Chinese. They speak Mandarin. That's main language in China, I believe. They are Chinese people, and Taiwan is China. And as we all know, Taiwanese government is the current government. They are descendants of the Chiang Kai-shek regime, who lost civil war in China against communist party forces, and they went to this Taiwan. They ran to this island and established a regime there, and they are still, until now, by the way, they're calling themselves legit rulers of the China. Officially, Taipei not yet declaring any independence from China. Officially, although there are some separatist movements, there are this movement to make changes in the policies and to just get rid of this all the narratives and declare themselves as an independent state. But officially, at least for now, Taipei's government is declaring itself as a legit government of China. It's only recognized by handful of countries as such. Of course, the vast majority of the world recognize Chinese communist government as legit government. And yes, Taiwanese are Chinese people, by the way. I mean, there can be no questions about it. And it is strange that some groups in Taiwan, some NGOs, maybe some officials, under influence of US maybe or Western ruling class, are trying to create this nonsensical new ethnicity, Taiwanese ethnicity, which is crazy. It's like in Ukraine, by the way. Last couple of centuries, some Western forces, it started in Germany, then UK get involved, Poland, of course. They were trying to create this idea, to cultivate idea among people that were living in the areas that are called Ukraine, or used to call Ukraine, to cultivate idea that they are not Russians, they are new ethnicity, Ukrainian ethnicity, and many people believe in that crap, man. And still now, you're gonna find people that will say, "Oh, we are ethnic Ukrainians, and we are descendants of this and that, and our ancestors built pyramids in Egypt and that kind of crazy stuff, man. And you don't know how wild those neo-Nazi crazy individuals are in Ukraine, that pushing this narrative of this ethnicity of Ukrainians, which is crazy. You're not gonna create ethnicity in 1 or 2 centuries, by the way. Nothing to be said about decades. It takes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years ethnicity to be formed. It does not happen just by wishes of some political class somewhere. And same goes for Taiwan, by the way. There is no such ethnicity as Taiwanese. There is a Chinese ethnicity. And Taiwanese are Chinese people. They speak same language, and they have same culture, by the way. They are the same. Anyways, let's continue. RT is reporting that ANC, by the way, in South Africa loses a 30-year majority, which is quite interesting. They're still gaining more votes than opposition parties, but I guess after recent elections, when African National Congress received 40.2% of the votes, 17% less than during the previous elections, I guess ANC will be forced to cooperate with their opposition parties to create a coalition government. Also, RIA Novosti's report that Egypt and Russia are in talks to pay in national currencies when it comes to exchange, business between the two countries. Egyptian state-run and private-run businesses are actively discussing this topic, which is good, by the way, which is good for both Egypt and Russia. It will strengthen currencies of two countries. And also RT's report, and I will end this first part of the update on this news, that China reaches the dark side of the moon. China's unmanned Chang'e 6 spacecraft has successfully landed on the moon in a landmark mission to collect soil and rock samples from the far side of Earth's natural satellite. The China's National Space Administration has announced on my Telegram, I did share this video of landing of this craft. The probe landed in a pre-selected area in the northern eastern part of the South Pole, Aitken Basin at 6:23 a.m. Beijing time on Sunday. The lander is expected to go through initial checks and then start gathering samples from the lunar surface using its robotic arms. If successfully returned, it would provide scientists with the first samples from the moon's little explored dark hemisphere, which always faces away from the Earth. Interesting success on the part of Chinese space program, which is great, by the way. And hopefully scientific community will learn something more about our moon. And of course China will share its findings with the rest of the world. And as I said, man, at least there should be some areas, despite this craziness that's going on in the world, that there should be some areas that success of any side will be perceived as success of everybody, as humanity as a whole. And this is exactly the example, by the way. Chinese success is, I believe, success for entire humanity. So great news. And well, I will end this update now. And as you can see, by the way, in the second part, I also have plenty of news to share. So these second parts are also, by the way, packed with important and interesting news. 49 minutes. Okay, quite long update, but hopefully you will find it informative, interesting, useful, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything, any topic. This is the only way we can somehow influence algorithm. Likes and comments, and maybe algorithm will start showing my channel or videos in recommendations to people that may have some interest in news in general, and from Russia in particular. And for very same reason, by the way, if you can please share the information about my channel with your friends in real life or on the platforms that you are actively using. And finally, if you like this channel, and if you want to support my work, you can do it with small donations through PayPal, Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. All the links are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care. I will start recording second part now. Thank you for your attention.